I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the Stars and Cars of the iRacing Sprint Car Cup, coming to you once again from Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway. Derek Thorne holds the track record here to 17.521. I think the Sprint Cars will beat that by a pretty wide margin tonight. How about 15.9 is what the top practice time was. That one belonged to Derek Love. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth as always by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I'll tell you what here, Bizzle, I'm looking forward to this show tonight. We saw a pretty good race last night out of the iRacing Silver Crowns, but this place just feels like sprint cars belong here.
Yeah, the Crowns looked a little bit out of their element here last night. They were pushing a little bit. You didn't really see them getting all crazy out of the groove, the kind of wild action we see in the sprint cars. This tighter, smaller circuit is definitely a lot more suited to these 410 cubic inch beasts.
Yes, these things are absolute monsters, and qualifications are just getting underway here. Let's take a look. Derek Love already working lap number 2. He goes quick time, 15.942. Tracy Peters, second quick. Now Rich Foreman sliding up into third as Joe Adams takes second quick. Second lap for Love, always almost up into the outside fence, and the lap will not score. New quick time, Tracy Peters, 15.816. He is flying around this place. Let's pick up, well, let's see who we still have out here. Austin Rich Miller is out on the racetrack right now. And let's see, he's going to come off of turn number 4. See the line for lap number 2, and Austin going to move himself up into position number 4. This guy, the car number is 94. If you're into numerology, the session number is 094. Jeffrey Stanton up 4th quick with a lap time of 15.988. Ryan Sellers getting himself up onto the board as we pick up the 10 of Dylan Vilashinsky coming across the line to complete lap number 2. Vilashinsky will improve, but not his position. Mitch Drevnovsky moves up into the second position on the board at a 15.826. Lap number 2 underway for Josh Batista, 15.975. The first lap, what's he going to do on lap number 2? Off at turn 4 under the checkered flag. Oh, baby. Back end, all sorts of squirrely on that one, just a tick slower. So Batista will currently stay in position number 4. Picking up the 17 of Austin Nye. Lap number 1 is 16.207. That is going to be good for 15th quick as they stand right now. The Lucas Oil number 17 off at turn number 4. He will put lap number 2 on the board, and it will be good enough for no improvement. Still 15th position on the board. 22 cars on the entry list here tonight. Pretty deep field of sprint cars here, Bizzle, as we're down to just about 2 minutes left in the qualifying session. And man, I'll tell you what, the heavy iron is up here at the front. Petter, Drevnovsky, Love, and Batista, your top 2 rows.
Yeah, and with a field this big, it's going to be a lot of action towards the front because they know there's going to be a lot of cautions early in this one. When we get this many cars out on track with the sprint cars, these races are front-loaded with cautions, and then about the last 2/3 to the last half is going to go green the entire way.
Following along with Mike Christopher Jr. as he goes 13th on the board on lap number 1, and he will move himself up into position number 11, and he will be the final car to take time in qualifications, getting himself up into position number 11. So getting these guys ready to roll off for a 45-lap race. And remember, this one is important. Caution laps do not count here. If this race is front-loaded with cautions, Bizzle, you could end up burning off a lot of fuel under the caution flag, and now all of a sudden that rear end does not want to behave as you get late in the race.
Yeah, the good news for these drivers is there is a pit crew hanging out there in the infield. They'll add more fuel to the car, but it takes them forever to do. So if you're one of the lower drivers in the split and the car gets a little undrivable, you get a lucky caution, you can probably only lose one lap going in to top it off.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one shakes out as this race goes on. But while we wait for the last couple of cars to get out onto the grid, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup. Starting on the pole will be the number 98 of Tracy Petter. Going quick time. We'll put him on the front row, 15.816 seconds. Just 10 thousandths of a second back. Starting on the outside, the number 21 Coors Extra Gold entry of Mitch Drevnovsky. Row number 2 tonight will be the Street Side Classics number 2 of Derek Love, alongside of the Red Ream Rocket, the number 20 of Josh Batista. Row number 3, Ryan Sellers in the number 4, alongside of the Rich Foreman Photography, number 7 of Rich Foreman. Both of these guys out of the state of Indiana and only a tenth and change back as we get to the third row of the grid. Jeffrey Stanton, the Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, number 94, will start inside of row number 4. To his outside, the Miller High Life Special belonging to Austin Rich Miller. Row number 5, Joe Adams out of Ontario, Canada, in the buff, number 9, alongside of the number 11 belonging to Ryan Mayer. Row 6, Mike Christopher Jr. out of New England, alongside of Brian Narducci. The 5 and the 7 occupying the 6th row tonight. Row number 7 will be the 16 of Dan Holmes, alongside of the number 10 of Dylan Vilashinsky. Scott McNett from Michigan inside of row number 8. To his outside will be the number 20, Oregon's Eric Cox. Row number 9, the Lucas Oil number 17 of Austin Nye with the Brian Clausen tribute helmet. Lining up to his outside will be Canada's Ronald Gibbons. Row 10 on the grid tonight, Zach Helmel out of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, alongside of John Sluter in car number 21. Aaron Parsons lining up alongside of Michigan's Steve Wright on the final row of the grid this evening as the field makes their way off of turn number 2. We are going to get ready to see these sprint cars go absolutely ballistic down into turn number 1. They will carry a ton of speed down this front straightaway. Pace car is in. Good jump there for Tracy Petter. Green flag goes to the air. We are underway here at Kern County. Little bit of a blink there. Looked like possibly that was Josh Batista having some signal issues here. Batista going to be stuck up on the outside. He's going to have Rich Foreman looking to his inside off of 4. Oh, and we are under caution already. First time tonight. We go under the caution flag with 1 lap in the books. Trying to take a look at who that may have been. And, looks like possibly, well, maybe not. Let's see. Looks like Dylan Vilashinsky and Ryan Mayer having early issues here. Oh, we'll get down here and see if we can get the replay queued up. Well, seeing the number 10 already on pit lane there, so under the caution flag, unfortunately, not going to have a look at this one. Rich Foreman making an early charge through the field.
Yeah, and you saw how squirrely these cars were. This track is very, very wide, and there's a lot of room to catch the car, but you don't want to get it squirrely at all if you can.
Yeah, and the weather conditions are not playing a part in that tonight. 71-degree ambient temperature, 75-degree track temp. It's a cool evening out here. That will help these tires grip up, but I guess, and this is the big but here, may almost give you a little bit of overconfidence in your ability to keep the car underneath you for the full race distance. So we'll see if the lights go out on the iRacing safety car this time by as Tracy Petter will continue to lead the field under the caution flag. As a reminder, we pull down the timing tower because everybody cycles through, and quite frankly, it just looks terrible. Dylan already checking in the comments saying, I cannot catch a break, I swear. Yeah, sounds like early trouble here for Dylan going out early in this one, especially as the number 10 I-rated driver. That's frustrating, man. You come to these series expecting a clean race. You figure you're going to be able to maybe even help the I-rating a little bit, and then you go out on lap 1.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are notoriously clean, but you're putting 20-something sprint cars on a short track. Crashes are bound to happen. Like, the difference between this and Formula 3 races, nobody is being malicious. Nobody's sending crazy dive bombs. It's just the nature of the beast with these things.
Let's take a look a little bit further back here. Pick up the 30 of Ryan Sellers battling with Jeffrey Stanton. Stanton has not moved up out of position number 7 where he started this race. Austin Rich Miller up a couple, Zach Hummel, Aaron Parsons up 3 apiece. As Tracy Petter goes fastest lap. And he's opened up the gap already to about 0.4 of a second here over Drevnovsky. See where else. I mean, we don't really have a ton going on. Let's see. Rich Foreman and Austin Rich Miller may be doing some battle here. Oh, buddy, Jeffrey Stanton way loose off of turn number 2. I've always found that to be more impressive out of these drivers. Not the fact that you can control a sprint car. If you drive it right, you can control it. It's the saves these guys can make. I mean, it's jazz hands behind the wheel, and quite frankly, with your right foot as well, doing the tap dancing on the throttle.
Yeah, it's almost like riding a bull, but you're also in the bull's brain trying to kill the guy that's sitting on top of it. You're trying to tame this whole mess back down.
That is an excellent analogy. In fact, it's the Cowboy Up division of the USAC National Series when they run these things on the dirt. Nut up and ball out is the expression that you'll hear used on some of the broadcasts, but things have way gotten settled. Well, I say that, and we go back under the caution flag, as it looks like Zach Hummel has had an issue here under the caution flag. So second caution of the night here on lap number 10. And it looks like, let's see, well, if I can get the session events to settle down here for just a second. And let's take a look here and see if we can see what happened to Zach Hummel. Oh, baby, he's upside down on the back straightaway. Let's...
Yeah, that is suboptimal.
Yeah, you definitely can't park there, bud. So let's see, Hummel running towards the back of the pack, and he's all by himself. Oh, just clips the outside wall. Oh, wow. Tumbling end over end. Oh, my goodness. That one was huge.
Not in VR.
Yeah, that's the one that'll make you nauseous because the world just starts spinning. It's not like you go sky ground. It's like the world, you just go like the horizon spins. So we'll pick up the live look here, and that is Zach Hummel on pit lane. So we'll go back to the look here with race leader Tracy Petter. And we didn't get a lap in the books that time either. So they will come back to green and put lap number 11 on the board. And this is, I mean, we've talked about it in the past here, Patrick, that it is just so frustrating for these drivers that you try to get into a rhythm and you feel like you're making some headway. Hey, we got 2 or 3 laps in the books. Okay, we're going to have a run. And then the caution comes out again. It's almost like you'd rather have it happen right away. That way you don't get that mental state of settle in for the long run starting to develop.
Yeah, it is so difficult with these guys just because you don't get a chance to kind of get a rhythm going. It's constant starting and stopping and heat cycling the tires, and each time you go and get on the power for the green flag, your fuel load's different. The car drives different. It's not like the car is slowly changing. It's each run you do, the car feels completely different.
So green flag goes back in the air. Tracy Petter will lead the field off into turn number 1. Great start for Petter and Drevnovsky at the front. Derek Love falling back by about 8 car lengths. He may lose even more ground than that, possibly into the clutches of Josh Batista, but Batista gonna have to deal with Austin Rich Miller, Rich Foreman, Ryan Sellers, and Jeffrey Stanton. They're all stacked up. Only about 2.5 car lengths or so back off of car number 20. A little bit deeper in the field here. These guys, again, all staying within a couple of car lengths of each other. This group headed up by Mike Christopher. He's going to have Brian Narducci focus on Dan Holmes. Scott McNett, Eric Cox, Austin Nye, all right there as well. All of these cars within 5 seconds of the race leader, as we are down to 32 laps to go. And this time, Bizzle, the lead is not all that big for Tracy Petter. The gap staying at about 1/4 of a second back to Mitch Drevnovsky. Do you almost feel like if you think you're going to catch a bunch of cautions, that you need to make the move early in the run if you're Drevnovsky? Because at that point, if you keep getting yellows, you're just going to stay at the front of the field and you'll be the one in control of the restarts.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be on the attack, and that's the other kind of flip side, and that's where the term cautions breed cautions is from, is when you're getting all these constant repetitive cautions, you know you're only going to have a lap, maybe 2 laps, and you got to make the big moves. You can't play chess with the guy in front, and you can't try and set it up over a couple laps.
Seeing Jeffrey Stanton going to work here on Ryan Sellers in the battle for the 7th position. Man, everybody up near that outside concrete retaining wall. Jeffrey Stanton, the only guy. Oh, wow, what a save by Sellers. Oh, my goodness. He's going to lose 3 positions in the process, but holy cow, what a save. Let's take a look at that one again on the replay. My goodness. Well, okay, so it's going to give us the wrong replay. So we'll go back to the live look, I guess.
That'll happen to you.
Yeah, every once in a while. Let's try this one again. Keep your eye on that car of Ryan Sellers. Now, he is the number 4 iRating guy in this field, but clips the bottom ever so slightly, and wow, what a save. But you can see he was almost completely out of the throttle there. And it's so difficult because the initial brain reaction is I'm sliding, grab a little brake. If you do that, it is absolutely game over.
Yeah, because you're transferring all that weight to those tiny little front tires, and you're just taking weight off the rear, where now that big fuel tank is sloshing around. It's almost like a milk truck trying to stop, where it's swinging you back and forth just from the fluid inside.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Is they don't even. It's not like there's any baffles or anything inside the tanks of these. There's a rubber bladder, so there's nothing to stop that fuel slosh that you might see in a car with a little bit larger fuel cell.
I almost wonder if they don't fill them with foam, though. That's one thing I've seen a lot of the drag guys do, is they fill the fuel cell with foam. This way the fuel has to move through like little capillaries to get to wherever it's going, so it can't slosh around like that. It keeps it near the pickup.
And possibly. That one would be interesting to know here. Mike Christopher and Joe Adams battling with Sellers right behind off at 2. Oh, man, both of these guys get squirrely on corner exit there. And I'll tell you what, we're going to do more of this next week because we head off to Slinger Speedway. I am absolutely jacked up to see these cars at Slinger, one of the world's fastest quarter-mile ovals. Super high banks and I mean 10-second, possibly sub-10-second lap times.
That one's going to be outrageous. I have a feeling that one's going to be a caution fest, though. These cars might be too fast for that track. But I guess they run Anderson, too, and Anderson's pretty similar to Slinger.
Yeah, very similar. High banks, the figure 8 in the middle. Hopefully we get Anderson Speedway here coming up in just a handful of weeks here, as we are already past the halfway. Past the halfway? Yeah, well past the halfway
easily.
point. Week 8 of 12 in 2024 Season 1. Man alive, what a show these guys are putting on. Huge save for Mike Christopher off the corner. Oh, it's so dangerous. You clip that apron like we saw the 30 of Ryan Sellers do. The car wants to get loose. But if you get a little bit too much throttle like we saw out of the 9 of Joe Adams, the car wants to get loose. This thing just wants to be sideways is kind of the feeling you get when you're behind the wheel of it. And I'll tell you what, things are starting to heat up at the front as the leader comes through lap traffic. Mitch Drevnovsky has cut the gap down to 0.2 of a second, that time by the start-finish line. And now this is when it gets really hard. I mean, we're down to 12, 13 laps to go here. It'll be 12 this time by the start-finish line. This race is going to be over quickly, and Mitch Drevnovsky knows now it's absolutely time to go. Oh, big send into 3 that time by Drevnovsky. Not able to complete the pass. He tucks back in line very quickly. Back to turn number 1. It'll be 10 to go next time by. It's almost like you're throwing a little baby slide job at the entry to 3 there. Now Petter going to have the look back inside as they come around the lap car up on the high side of the racetrack. Oh, and there's a wreck right in front of the leaders. Able to dive to the inside. Caution flag is out here at lap number 36.
And that pass doesn't count because they revert back to the start-finish line on the previous lap. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Previously scored lap is the rule here. And that means all that hard work that Tracy Petter did to get around Mitch Drevnovsky is going to be for naught. Now, Drevnovsky was the car that was in second for most of the race. 32 laps led for Tracy Petter. 1 led for Drevnovsky, but it is a big one because now it means Mitch Drevnovsky will be able to control this restart. Trying to see who it was. May have been Ryan Mayer. Let's take a look here. It looked like it was a blue car. Well, maybe not. It looked like they were already under caution there. Let's see. Actually, let's try. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a look at who that one was, unfortunately. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I think that one's going to be Ronald Gibbons. Let's see if I can find him. There we go. Well, maybe not, but he did come to pit lane this last time by, so we'll go back to the live look here, and at the front of the field, man, that is such a huge advantage for Mitch Drevnovsky to be able to control this restart with only 9 laps to go when we restart. It's almost like it's going to take a lap or two for Tracy Petter to even catch back up.
Yeah, it's going to be tight if Petter can even get it done.
So we'll bring the timing tower up here for a moment. Drevnovsky, Petter, Love, Miller, Stanton, the top 5. Batista, Foreman, Sellers, Christopher, and Adams back through position number 10. Oh, it's Josh Batista way down against the inside wall, scraping the inside wall through turn number 4 that time. Trying to get some cool on those Hoosier tires. That's going to be a big deal here, Bizzle, trying to get as much temperature out of the tires as you can under caution here. It's kind of a balancing act, but we did have a long green flag run there.
Oh, man, what a jump on the start.
Mitch Drevnovsky knew what he was doing. As soon as the pace car got to the entrance of pit lane, he was gone at the front of the field. It's going to be a third of a second lead, and now Petter really going to have to go to work. And battle heating up just back behind as well. Austin Rich Miller, Jeffrey Stanton fighting for the 4th position, and Derek Love right there in 3rd. If Stanton saves some tire running that high line we saw throughout the race, he may have something for these 2 guys ahead of him here as we're down to 7 laps to go. Stanton continuing to try that outside lane through 3 and 4. Drevnovsky continues to hold a quarter of a second advantage over over Tracy Petter at the front, as it'll be 5 laps to go this next time by. It's the move of the race if we don't get another caution flag potentially for Mitch Drevnovsky. If we do get another yellow, well, then now you're in a situation where you've already used that trick on the restart. You're going to have to go to something else. Yeah, Tracy Petter is right there, calling a car length all the way through 1 and 2. But it is going to be a tough move to make as we're down to 3 to go here. The battle at the front is getting hot. Mitch Drevnovsky. Oh, we've got one up into the wall, spun down to the inside. We'll see if it brings out a caution. A little bit of a twitch at the mid-corner from Drevnovsky. Drag race to the line. It's Tracy Petter that time by with 2 to go. Big drive off the corner for Drevnovsky. Man, both of these cars still absolutely look like they're on rails with 1 to go. Drevnovsky on the outside. He's clear, exiting turn 2. Petter may be able to try the move inside. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. Under the twin checkers, Mitch Drevnovsky gets the win at Kern. Tracy Petter comes home 2nd. Derek Love holds on for a 3rd place finish. Man alive, what a show from these guys late in the race. Mitch Drevnovsky claims the race win. Heads to victory lane right out here on the front stretch and is going to park it up here for the night. Results are now official. So let's take a look and show you your race results. Just over a tenth of a second at the line for Mitch Drevnovsky over Tracy Petter. Another 7/10ths back to Derek Love in position number 3. Austin Rich Miller and Jeffrey Stanton will complete the top 5 here tonight. 6 through 10, Rich Foreman, Josh Batista, Ryan Sellers, Mike Christopher Jr., and Joe Adams. Second page of the leaderboard will have Dan Holmes, Eric Cox, Austin Nye, Brian Narducci, and Scott McNett back through the 15th position. Everybody else 1 or more laps down. That includes Ryan Mayer, Aaron Parsons, John Sluter, Ronald Gibbons, and Steve Wright. Final page of the leaderboard, a couple of cars having very early issues here. The 15 of Zach Hummel and the 10 of Dylan Vilashinsky. Race that took 20 minutes, 50 seconds to complete, and it will go to Mitch Drevnovsky, your race winner here this evening. Let's bring him up into the booth with us. Mitch, congratulations. A great run tonight. I think I said it would be the move of the race if we didn't get another caution flag. Fantastic final restart there. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been tough to pass him. He bobbled off too, and then I was able to get by him, and he said his car went away a little bit after that on the right rear, and he almost got me there at the end. I messed up in 3 and 4 one of the times, but it was a good finish.
Yeah, it was a great finish, and quite frankly, a great race with you two, because it seemed like your cars were very, very equal. Was there anything in terms of the setup that's changed from the last time you guys were here, whether it's gearing or anything else? Not asking for the special sauce, but did you make any changes from when you guys were here last?
Last time we were here, we were pretty fast, and these guys figured it out a little bit more, and we're a little bit closer, so I kind of had to change up how I ran it. I pretty much ran the same set, loosened it up a little bit so that it wouldn't go tight. But yeah, it was pretty much what we ran last time, and just had to be smooth the whole time, keep tires on it.
Well, I tell you what, it was a fantastic win tonight. Congratulations on it, leading 9 circuits in total of the 45 here this evening. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the sponsor plugs and shout-outs that you want to get in here.
Yeah, I just want to thank all the guys at SRS and everyone at EPI and everyone for showing up, doing the race. We got a lot of guys. A couple guys came back and ran again. And, of course, you guys for doing the broadcast every week.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And now let's talk to a guy who I am pretty sure is going to be pretty dejected with a second-place finish tonight, Tracy Petter. Man, we called it the move of the race on that final restart. Is there any way to plan that the guy in front of you is just going to jump at the first possible instant?
I really just made a mistake, to be honest. We probably would have been able to be side by side for a little bit. I was getting tight up there, and I put a bunch of wheel in it, and it snapped my car, and I just had to fully lift out.
Yeah, and it sounded like Mitch said anyway that you were talking about your car kind of went away a little bit over the late part of the run. Was there a lot of tire saving that you were thinking about doing while you were out front, or was it kind of just knowing that you had to hold that position?
I was going as hard as I could the whole race. I typically do that in sprint car the whole time.
Now, final question for you here. How big of a change is it when you have those kind of early cautions and then you fill it and you kind of flip the script a little bit and get into a long run? Do you have to change the thought process of how you attack there, just knowing that it looks like you never know when the caution is going to come?
Just pedal to the floor and just go as hard as I can, see if I can get away from everybody, and just hope the car doesn't go away.
All right, Tracy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming in. A great show tonight, leading 33 laps and coming home second in this one. Before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs you have for us here, too.
Yeah, thanks to you guys, as always, for doing the broadcast, and shout out to EPI.
All right, brother. Well, thank you much, Tracy. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here, and now let's talk to the guy. We talked to him last night, said maybe we would talk to him tonight. It wouldn't surprise me if we did. That's Derek Love coming home in the 3rd position here tonight. The Street Side Classics machine looked good. And, I mean, looking at the numbers on outright pace, you weren't that far off over the 10-lap averages and all. How did the car feel tonight?
That's funny, exactly. It felt great. And so I got a shout out to the babes back at the shop because we had awesome car. No complaints on it. We just built it for the wrong line. I built it on the bottom. Those guys instantly started running the middle and the top and just a late arc in. And I was like, well, they've built a quicker line, and I just, I was able to make up some time on the bottom there just because the car felt so good. But man, just over a long run, they were gone.
Is there anything you can do driving style to mitigate the effect of setting the car up? Is just saying I missed it and it's set up for the wrong line? Is there anything you can do behind the wheel to help that?
Yeah, I did move up. I moved up to the middle lane, and the car surprisingly felt pretty good there. The track was gripped up enough that I was able to run there pretty consistently. It just being the car, it wasn't free enough for me. So I was just kind of scrubbing some speed a little bit. So that's why ultimately I just moved back down. But yeah, you can adjust. You just got to change your entry point and where you can get on the throttle with it, and it just comes down to practice with this car. Know exactly what you got to do with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the best in the business in this car, Derek. Congratulations on another podium finish here, and man, do all those shout outs one more time here before we let you go for the week.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Shout out to you guys. The babe's back at the shop for building me this Street Side Classics machine. We'll see you next time.
All right, buddy. Well, there you go. Derek Love, our third place finisher tonight. And, man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we'll go back to the live look here around Kern. And this race was kind of what we expected tonight. Short track, kind of bull ring type racing. You're going to get a bunch of cautions with a car that's this difficult to drive. And you talked about it a little bit. We may see more of that 1 week from tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have 900 horsepower at a short track and expect everyone in the field to stay absolutely perfect. If that happened, I would leave this apartment right now, run up to Circle K, grab me a couple scratch-off tickets, and probably go and win the lotto, because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week, because short of the track just going single file, I don't know that there's a way to get around Slinger that's not too wide for these guys, and it is going to be a big challenge for them.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them do it at Anderson, but not all of these guys are in VR. Not all of them can take a quick glance left and right and see you're too wide, because they're going to be going too wide faster than the spotter can make the call. So you gotta have to be on your toes.
Yeah,
that's definitely one that the VR drivers are going to have a huge advantage over even the triple monitor guys.
Yeah, that's a great point. And even things like having the, whether it's virtual or surround sound or whatever it is, having that spatial awareness is almost more important than having control. Not having the feel of control in the car, because there's so much going on. You're going to have to know what's what and what's where. But man, fantastic show tonight out of the iRacing Sprint Car Cup, guys. Tomorrow night it will be bottom split racing action, sort of. We'll kick it off at 8 p.m. with the Daredevil series with the guys from Turn 200. We will share out the link to their feed over on our Facebook page. I will be driving in that race, and then we're going to do some bottom split stuff, whether it's lower, USFs at Silverstone, or maybe some jumpy trucks at wherever they are. Looking forward to that tomorrow night. And then Thursday night, the cars of the USF Pro Championship head off to Silverstone in England. One of the world's great racetracks will host one of the best cars on the iRacing platform. That broadcast will come up at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bizzle, go get some sleep. He spent the day playing Planes, Trains, and Automobiles getting home from Daytona. Thank you very much for an absolutely incredible weekend. That was an absolute blast down in Daytona. A lot of stories that will never once get told on the air here, that's for sure. But with that, it's time for Bizzle and I to get the heck on out of here. Great show tonight, and we thank you all for coming to hang out with us. For Patrick Byrne and everybody else here at the National Racing Network that gets these shows on the air, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we'll talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.